It was past 11 at night when I opened the door in my pajamas to let my brother in. He shoved his best friend inside, slurring his words. "Buddy, after I drop you off, I've got to head back quickly. My sister is probably still snoozing and can't even open the door, might have to call the fire department." During my exam prep, I had fallen off a scooter and injured my leg, just as my parents were away on a trip. So, my brother had brought me back to his apartment. Although he had social plans that night, he remembered to order takeout for me. "Luna, will one portion be enough?" I was typing, "Hehe, good brother, one is enough." Before I could finish, he replied, "If it's not enough, it's no wonder you can't find a boyfriend." My brother is good, looking, rich, and knows how to talk. I slowly finished eating before replying to him. "Mike, when are you coming back? If it's too late, just stay out and don't disturb my sleep." He had left without his keys, so I had them. My brother looked down on me. "Luna, all you do is sleep." I didn't care. Isn't being beautiful just about sleeping? Hobbling to my bedroom with the crutch, I waited and waited, but Mike hadn't shown up. My eyelids grew heavy and I soon fell asleep. I was in the middle of a pleasant dream when suddenly there was a loud knock on the door. Being woken up, I was naturally in a bad mood. I got up and opened the door, still fuming, and was greeted by a stranger. Before I could process what was happening, Mike's voice came from outside. "Buddy, after I drop you off, I've gotta head back quickly. My sister's probably still sleeping and can't even open the door. We might need to call the fire department." How many plates of peanuts did he eat tonight? The door slammed shut, and I found myself face to face with a man who was nearly 6 feet tall. Under the light, the man's hair was messy, his eyes blurry with alcohol, and his gaze was slightly red at the corners, staring at me in a daze. Honestly, with that look, I was moved. Just not at the right time. A breeze slipped in from the window, and I suddenly felt cold on my chest. Looking down, I was shocked to see that the 2 buttons on my top had come undone. In a panic, I turned and rushed away. 5 seconds later, I crashed to the floor. It seemed the man behind me was also stunned, and there was a long pause before he reacted. I didn't care about the pain in my leg and crawled back to my bedroom. I must be guilty. May the law punish me. Instead of my idiotic brother torturing me by bringing over the man I could see myself spending my life with when I'm at my worst. Lying in bed, I buried my face in the covers and listened for any sound from outside. But there was nothing except the sound of my own heart beating, reminding me of my embarrassing moment earlier. A minute later, the door was knocked again. Mike's voice came from outside. "Huh? Bill, what are you doing in my house? Didn't I just drop you off?" I punched the air in frustration, gritting my teeth as I cursed my brother's ancestors. People drink and forget, but Mike drinks and loses his mind. A calm yet resigned voice came from behind. "Mike, this is your house." Mike blinked in confusion before he seemed to suddenly understand. "Oh, right, you weren't planning on going home today." There was some rustling, and Mike asked again. "Bill, how did you get in? Did you see my sister? That idiot, is she passed out?" "Mike, could you just shut up?" It was quite a while before Bill's voice finally spoke up, but he deliberately lowered it, though I could still hear it. "She opened the door for me, Mike. Have you been neglecting your sister?" "What do you mean? She doesn't seem to be in a good state." I recalled the embarrassing moments where our eyes met. I wanted to die. Because of my leg injury, I hadn't showered or washed my hair for a whole week. Plus, the buttons on my shirt were undone, so I probably looked like a mess. Especially when I couldn't imagine how he must have seen me crawling back to my room. The voices from outside went silent. After a while, my brother knocked on the door again, sounding drunk as he asked, "Kid, are you okay after falling earlier?" I threw my pillow at the door, making a loud thud sound. Angrily, I shouted, "Get out of here!" For once, I wasn't lying in comfort last night. I dreamt all night long. In the dream, I fell to the ground, and that handsome guy helped me up, staring at my chest. His frown could squash a fly. "You don't look so good." My brother knocked again, likely realizing his mistake from last night, and with a sugary tone said, "Kid, are you awake? I made breakfast for you, come out and eat. Don't starve yourself." A few more knocks followed. I grabbed my teddy bear and threw it at the door, shouting, "Stop knocking, what are you doing? Is anyone else in the house?" "Actually, I just wanted to ask if the handsome guy had left." Mike replied, "Yeah, come out soon." "I'm leaving soon too." I sighed in relief. Thank goodness I wouldn't have to face that handsome guy again. My pride was too precious for that. I slowly changed clothes and went to the kitchen, where my brother was cooking eggs. His cute butt was practically calling my name. My crutch couldn't wait. The grudge from last night flared up. I grabbed the kitchen counter and slapped him hard. I'll teach you a lesson, you idiot. The sound of slippers tapping came from behind me. Luna? I froze in place and turned mechanically. Mike's friend Bill stood behind me, eyes wide in confusion. It was as if he was asking, "Why did you hit him?" I felt my legs go weak. The handsome guy, almost the same height as Mike, had a spatula in one hand and was holding my arm in the other, looking at me in bewilderment. I had slapped the wrong person. What should I do now? This was a battlefield. I sat at the dining table, burying my face in my arm. Mike, finally, gently lifted my head. He must have been laughing too hard, and there were tears in his eyes. He asked, "Kid, why are you crying?" Then he turned to introduce his friend. "This is my buddy Bill. Don't feel embarrassed. We don't take this kind of thing seriously. Right, Bill?" Bill lazily waved his hand, his soft voice reassuring me. "Don't worry about it, Luna. Forget what happened earlier." He really was gentle. I couldn't help but cry. Looking into his slightly curved, jet black eyes, I really cried. "Sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry." The phone rang abruptly, and Mike answered it. He didn't say much before turning and walking out the door. "Bill, something came up at the company. I'm going to head back. Take my sister out for a hair wash. Thanks, buddy." With that, he left without even turning back, not even saying goodbye to me. The morning breeze quietly slipped through the window crack. It ruffled Bill's messy hair. The man, with his sharp bone structure, always wore a smile at the corner of his lips. Even when dealing with a fool like Mike, he could only shake his head in helplessness. He took 2 chopsticks from the kitchen and handed them to me. His soft words melted my bones. "Eat. After you're done, I'll take you out for a hair wash. And maybe a little shopping." If my hair wasn't so dirty, maybe his hand would be gently running through it now. Under his gentle gaze, I melted into a puddle. How could I even think of Mike? I really wanted to run to the bathroom and see how ridiculous I looked. I picked up the chopsticks and lowered my head to hide my blushing face. As I ate, I tried to salvage my image. "Thank you, brother. I'll be quick." "No hurry, don't choke." I ate 8 dumplings, slowly savoring each bite. When I reached for the second basket, I snapped back to reality and quickly stopped myself. "Brother, I'm full. I'm going to change and be right back." Bill glanced at me, raising an eyebrow. "You've only eaten 1 basket? Wasn't it good?" I smiled gently and replied, "Brother, I can't eat that much. I'll change first." "Mike was worried you wouldn't have enough, so he had extra made for you." "Mike, thanks for the consideration." As I turned to leave, I heard a quiet laugh from behind me, making my cheeks turn bright red. Mike's place was on the 22nd floor. Bill, worried that it might be inconvenient for me, helped me into the elevator. On the 5th floor, 2 rowdy kids got in, playing basketball. I stepped back and accidentally bumped into Bill, grabbing his thigh for support. Bill steadied me, pulling me into his arms. The smile was gone from his lips and his voice turned cold. "Little brats, if you want to land safely, hold on to the basketball properly. Don't mess around." The kids stopped arguing and obediently stood to the side. I was blushing so hard I could hardly focus, my mind full of the feeling of my hand on his thigh. My whole body was enveloped in Bill's embrace, and his breath brushed the top of my head. When I glanced at the mirror, I saw Bill's lowered eyes, fixed on the top of my head. Oh my God, Bill's earlobes turned red. What do I do now? Lost in my thoughts, the elevator dinged. The kids walked out obediently. Bill suddenly spoke, his voice low and restrained. "Luna, can you let go now?" "Let go of what?" Following his gaze, I looked down. My hand was still tightly pressed against his thigh. My fingers were restlessly moving. As we stepped out of the elevator, Bill called out to me, clearly helpless. "Luna, slow down, be careful not to fall." The more he shouted, the faster I went. I couldn't afford to lose face. At 20 years old, I didn't realize I was a bit of a thug. Bill quickly came over and took my crutch from me. "What if you fall? Aren't you afraid of the pain?" I looked up at him, and in that instant I felt calm. His gentleness could kill me. After washing my hair, Bill took me to the mall to buy some new clothes. Then he led me to a few lingerie stores, pushing me inside to pick out clothes. It took me a while to realize what was going on. With how familiar he was with the women's clothing sections, this handsome guy must already have a girlfriend. On the way back home, he bought me some bubble tea. What a pity. A guy this gentle, I wonder which lucky woman gets to be with him. Mike came back in the afternoon with dinner. Perhaps trying to make up for not being with me earlier, he brought all my favorite foods. Most importantly, he also brought me a set of personal review materials for college math. The handwriting was elegant and strong, particularly beautiful. There were multiple ways to solve the difficult problems. I held the notebook and asked Mike, "Whose is this?" Mike glanced back at me. "Oh, Bill went back to his place specifically to get it for you. He said it would be really useful." I held the notebook, my thoughts drifting. I wanted to ask Mike if Bill had a girlfriend, but I hesitated and swallowed the question. My parents called for a video chat. "Has your brother been taking good care of you?" Mike, who had been sitting properly, suddenly grabbed me and pinned me to the side, covering my mouth so I couldn't speak. "Mom, Luna's fine. I took her to wash her hair today and bought her some clothes. Don't worry, let her have fun for a while." I muttered a few sounds. Did he accompany me though? Shameless. I think my mom must have heard the noise on our end because she smiled and said to Mike, "Mike, don't bully your sister. Be careful your dad doesn't beat you when he comes home." My brother laughed lazily. "I'd never bully Luna, don't worry." After hanging up, I kicked him a few times. "You dared to bully your little sister? No wonder you can't find a girlfriend." The usual carefree person suddenly fell silent, a look of melancholy on his face. I was curious, no way? Something's going on? He stood up and walked away. I hobbled behind him. "Do you really like someone?" "No way. Who's this person so ungrateful, daring to hurt my brother's heart?" Mike clearly didn't want to talk about it. He silently closed the door to his bedroom. A while later, my phone buzzed. When I checked, I saw Mike had transferred 50,000 RMB to my account. If he wants to give it, just say it. Why does he always find excuses? This guy is so weird. Both Mike and I are single. I know the stars he likes, but I really don't know who the girl he likes is. My brother's company is in the startup phase. His partners are all his college classmates. Apparently Bill is his best friend, but I had never met him before. I secretly asked Mike a few times. "That Bill, is he popular?" I was really just asking if he had a girlfriend. Mike twisted his head and glanced at me. "With me as your brother, does he need to be popular?" "Who cares if you're popular? I mean, does he have someone around him?" Mike immediately noticed my abnormality and furrowed his brow. "Luna, why are you asking about him?" I casually grabbed a bottle of cola and took a few sips to cover up. "Just wondering, you know. I have a senior at school who's not single and is really pretty. I was thinking maybe I could introduce her to Bill." My brother's expression relaxed immediately, as if he suddenly remembered something. "This sounds good. Next time, bring your senior along, and I'll invite Bill. Let's have dinner together." I swallowed nervously, feeling a bit awkward. This is definitely not a friendship arrangement, is it? The next time I saw Bill was when I went to the office to deliver documents for my brother. I hobbled slowly, crutch in hand, my hair and clothes well prepared. After searching around, I spotted that tall figure. But he was standing next to a slim girl, not tall, but with a straight posture that made her seem very graceful. Bill's affectionate gaze was fixed on her face, and he even reached out to adjust her collar. I immediately felt deflated. There was a slight emptiness in my chest. Turning my head, I froze in place, my legs rooted to the ground, unable to move. Look at what I had seen. Mike was standing nearby, his eyes full of burning, sticky affection, fixed on that girl. I had never seen such admiration in his eyes before. Recalling the days when I had asked Mike about introducing a girlfriend to Bill, his brief moment of silence, and the change in expression when he smiled about the dinner invitation, I suddenly understood. I didn't realize Mike could be this sneaky. He was trying to make Bill fall for someone else so he wouldn't be competing for her, huh? But this scene was a bit much. The girl lowered her head, not avoiding Bill's touches, letting him do as he pleased. Wasn't this just a couple falling for each other? Mike had lost, badly. Mike saw me first and called out, "Luna, over here." Bill and the girl both looked toward me. I was immediately captivated by the girl's beauty. She was stunning like a fairy. My balance instantly tipped toward her side. Their looks were just too perfect for each other. Upon closer inspection, they looked like a married couple. I glanced at Mike. Sorry, bro. This perfect match I'll just quietly admire. Bill's dark eyes looked at me with warmth and tenderness. Don't be fooled by those eyes. He looks deep at everything, even a dog. I gave Bill and the girl the most sincere smile. I politely greeted, "Hello, Bill." Then, with a playful wink, I mouthed to the girl, "Hello, sister-in-law." The girl froze for a second, and 2 bright red clouds appeared on her cheeks. She looked shy and utterly lovable. I quickly walked over and pulled my brother away, leaving Bill and the girl alone. Mike talked to me for a while but seemed distracted. I felt a bit guilty inside. To avoid the awkwardness, I went to the restroom. When I came out, I ran into Bill in the hallway. I smiled at him and nodded. As I brushed past, Bill suddenly called me. "Luna, is your foot feeling better?" I politely replied, "It's healing well." Bill's short, black hair hung messily over his forehead, his lips curved into a slight smile, and he suddenly stepped closer to me. I kept backing away until I was pressed against the wall, and his deep, lazy voice made my face flush. He said, "Have you been studying well these days? Add me on WeChat. If you have any questions, you can ask me." I took out my phone, thanking him, and genuinely complimented him. "Bill, that girl is really pretty. I'm serious, you and my brother really have great taste." Bill leaned against the wall, eyeing me with suspicion. I quickly added him on WeChat with the note, "Bill." When I glanced at his phone, I noticed the note from me said, "GG." What does GG mean? He took me back to my brother's office, but when he opened the door, I saw a strange scene. The girl, blushing, was sitting on the couch, while Mike was crouched beside her, frustratedly rubbing his head. Bill's expression changed several times. I covered my face, feeling that this scene was even more dramatic than the previous one. I even saw a bit of guilt on Mike's face. "Bro, are you playing the third wheel?" I silently took a step back, preparing to leave. I didn't want to anger Bill and get myself covered in blood. But before I could, he grabbed me. He lowered his eyes and softly said to my brother, "Mike, you have 3 minutes to fix things with Coco." He dragged me out of the room, his breath uneven, standing there in silence. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. "Bill, Coco." "Bill, is that girl yours?" He smiled slightly. "My sister Coco." I was stunned. He suddenly brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. He leaned down, laughing softly in my ear. "So, you thought that was someone else?" His voice lingered, sending chills down my spine. I froze. He stepped closer and whispered, "By the way, you didn't call her sister-in-law correctly." Mike can forget about entering the Chun family's door. Without thinking, I immediately turned to my brother, neck stiff, and retorted, "The Chun family isn't getting into my Shu family's door." Bill paused, his ears turning red. I blinked, ready to speak, but was startled by a loud yell. "Bill, why are you so close? Keep your distance from my sister." Mike came over, looking like an angry dog, his face red and neck thick. He pulled me away. Bill raised an eyebrow, straightened up, and pulled Coco with him. "Forget the meeting today. We're leaving now." He turned around, whispered in my ear, "If you don't understand any problems, ask me on WeChat." Mike stood there, his expression strange as he watched them leave. After a while, he turned and looked at me suspiciously. "What did he say to you? Since when are you and Bill so close?" When we got home, my brother was clearly a bit irritated, lecturing me as usual. "Focus on your graduate school entrance exams. Do what you need to do. Don't think about anything else. Don't let people sell you out and end up paying them, got it?" I was speechless and let him ramble on, acting out of character. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out to find a WeChat message from Bill. "My sister says she frequently wears clothes from this particular brand, and they have some really unique styles. Do you want the link? It's true, pretty and cute girls always seem to be liked by everyone. Thanks for passing the message to Coco. How about this? Give me her WeChat, and I'll talk to her directly." I waited for a while, but no reply came. After my shower, I saw Mike sitting on the couch texting, his whole body restless like a cat whose fur was standing on end. I leaned in next to him. "Bro, do you need help with anything?" Mike turned to look at me, snorted, "You're like a donkey listening to a comedy show. You don't understand anything, yet you want to teach me how to do things. You just don't get it." Even though I've never been in a relationship, I understand how girls think. Are you sure you don't need my help? My brother ignored me completely. I went to bed and finally Bill replied. Her phone's broken. She give it to you another day. Do you have any problems with the problems I gave you? I quickly found some harder questions. I've sent them. I can't solve this one. I'll teach you. Then he sent a video. Bill's hair was slightly damp, strands hanging over his forehead. His lips curved into a smile that made the air feel sweet. Luna, I'll explain it to you. I nodded, my voice soft. Okay. Sorry to trouble you and thank you, Bill. I was slowly getting lost in his gentle voice. I wasn't sure when, but I suddenly heard a soft laugh. Luna, if you're tired, go to sleep. I'll continue tomorrow. I froze, hastily wiping the corner of my mouth. Sorry, Bill, your voice is just... I'm just really tired. Bill's eyes curved into a smile. It's fine. Go to sleep. Good night. For the next few days, he sent me videos regularly, teaching me. It made me work my brain hard, picking out tough problems during the day and saving them for him to explain at night. But the short time we spent at night wasn't enough anymore. In order to naturally meet Bill, Mike's documents always seemed to mysteriously get left behind at home, and he kept forgetting his personal belongings. Mike even started questioning his own brain. Kid, sorry, I've been so busy these days that I keep forgetting things. Can you bring them to me again? If you want anything, just let me know. I agreed and quickly went to the office to find someone. Bill's demeanor at work was very different from usual. He had a cold and serious aura, his presence commanding attention. Every time I came by, I saw him sternly negotiating with others. I always stood not far from him, but within a minute he would notice me. His gaze would seek mine, and the moment our eyes met, his gaze softened, filled with a smile. In the break room, Bill found me and came over to pat me on the head. Bringing something to your brother again? I nodded and grumbled. My brother's been so tired lately. He keeps forgetting things. He looked down and smiled at me, and that smile made me feel nervous, like he saw right through me. After chatting for a while, he suddenly pulled something from his pocket and handed it to me. Coco likes wearing these little things, so I learned to make one for her. I made one for you too. Do you like it? It was a brown bracelet, woven with a double knot, and a honey-colored beeswax bead in the middle, a soft lemon color, with a smooth jade-like luster. I really loved little things like that. I couldn't stop looking at it, turning it over and over in my hand. Bill, thank you. I love it. How are you so good with your hands? I looked up at him and realized he was standing really close. Luna? My brother's booming voice pulled me out of my trance. Bill immediately straightened up. You'd better have a good reason for this. Mike looked back and forth between me and Bill and suddenly said something shocking. Hey Luna, didn't you say you wanted to introduce Bill to someone? How about today? You can message your senior now. I quickly turned to look at Bill. Bill's dark eyes stared at me, confused, a hint of grievance, and an unclear coldness. The progress I'd finally made was completely undone by my brother's words. I looked at Bill and tried to explain. No, that's not it. My brother frowned. What do you mean no? You said it yourself. I shut my mouth quickly and hurriedly dragged my brother away. I glanced back at Bill as we left. He stood there, looking a little desolate. That night, Bill didn't send me a video. I was really anxious. I had no choice but to send him a message. When the video opened, it was Coco. She squinted at the screen and greeted me. I was wondering what my brother was doing in his room every day. Hi, little Luna. I quickly responded excitedly. Coco, you're so beautiful. That one sentence was enough to attract Mike over. Who are you calling? Coco? He walked over, stood in front of the screen, and froze. Coco? When he saw I was on a video call with Bill, he turned away and shot me a glare. Coco saw Mike approaching and, without a word, turned her head and walked away. Mike stood there, unsure, for a long time before sighing, rubbing my head, and walking away. What's going on with these two? To my surprise, as soon as Mike left, Coco reappeared, grinning. Luna, last time I wanted to add you on WeChat, but your phone was broken. Bill cleared his throat twice. Do you have anything else? If not, go to sleep early. What? I think I've uncovered something. While Coco was still standing there, I decisively read out her WeChat ID. Coco, add me. We can chat on WeChat. Coco gave Bill a strange look before leaving. The room was very quiet, and Bill's dark eyes were fixed on me. He was looking right through me. My heart raced, and I struggled to find something to say. After a long pause, I managed to squeeze out, "Bill, do you want another little sister?" Bill scoffed, helpless. "You really are something." His gaze seemed to burn through the screen, making my heart race. It was quiet, endlessly quiet. After a long while, he finally spoke. "I don't want another little sister. I want a wife." I lowered my eyes, secretly smiling to myself. "So what kind of girl do you like?" Bill's gaze was full of deep affection, staring at me. For the first time, he hit me with a direct shot. "I like someone just like you." I kept my expression neutral, but my feet were pressing the ground frantically. "What about you? I hadn't even finished, and Bill couldn't wait any longer. "Will you be my girlfriend?" I wanted to jump through the screen and into his arms, but I managed to control my face, blushing and lowering my head. "Okay." When the video call ended, Bill's eyes and the corner of his mouth were both smiling. I curled up in my blanket, twisting into a knot. After calming down, I sent Coco a WeChat message. I'd sorted out my feelings, and now it was time to help my brother find happiness. "Coco, tomorrow I'm going to remove my cast, but I won't have anyone with me. Do you have time? How about we go shopping afterward?" Coco replied quickly, "No problem, little Luna. By the way, have you finished talking to my brother? He hasn't come back since so late. Just confirmed the relationship. And now this guy isn't following the rules of male chivalry?" While my thoughts were racing, my phone rang. It was Bill's call with just 2 words. "Come down." The night was falling, the breeze cool. I hobbled down, and Bill wrapped me in his arms. "Be good, why are you in such a hurry?" "I'm not going anywhere." I looked up at him and smiled. "Bill." He hummed in response, his voice lazy and hoarse, tightening his hold around me. He bent down, his face getting closer to mine. I stood on tiptoe. My heart was in turmoil. The only sound in the quiet night was the pounding of our hearts, both wild and in sync. A long time later, I didn't even know whose phone buzzed. My legs gave way, and Bill caught me. With one arm? Who could be so clueless? I thought to myself, letting out a dissatisfied TSK. Bill's light laugh echoed, amplifying in the stillness. My restless heart had nowhere to hide in the night. My brother's call pulled me back to reality. Before I left, Bill patted the top of my head, his fingers brushing past my ear, gently pinching my earlobe. His voice still echoed in my ears. "Baby, we'll have plenty of time. Bill is yours." The next day, Mike went with me to remove the cast. I told him I was meeting Coco, and my brother had turned himself into a peacock. When we got to the hospital, we saw Bill was there too. My brother asked confusedly, "Why are you here? Isn't there work at the company today?" Bill smiled faintly. "You're with your sister, I'm with mine. What's wrong with that?" Mike frowned, but didn't dare say anything, quickly walking off to find Coco. As Mike moved closer to Coco, Bill subtly squeezed my hand. "Baby, why didn't you ask me to go with you?" Still worried about me sabotaging their match making, I tentatively asked, "Bill, do you really not want Coco and my brother to be together?" Bill snorted coldly. "Don't worry about it. Your brother can't handle Coco." I couldn't help but feel nervous for Mike. Mike suddenly turned and glared at me. "Why are you walking so slowly? And why are you so close to her? You're not letting Bill be with his wife, but you want to chase after his sister?" I really felt for him. After removing the cast, the 4 of us went shopping. That's when I realized what my brother's problem was. He was the perfect representative of a nerdy, straight-laced guy. Coco was trying on clothes, and he stood by, seriously giving his opinions. Most of it was reasonable, but the way he put it would make any girl, especially one who hasn't confirmed a relationship, feel uncomfortable. Lucky for him, Coco probably liked my brother, or else she would have run off by now. Seeing Coco's face darkening, I stepped in to stop my brother from speaking. Bro, please shut up." He glared at me. "Isn't what I said right?" I was speechless. I could only ask him to stop talking for now, and we'd discuss it later when we got home. During dinner, my brother tried to sit with Coco again, but didn't want me sitting with Bill. Bill was quick to react, immediately sitting next to me and pretending to order something. Under the table, his right hand enveloped mine, fingers occasionally brushing against my palm, sending a tingling sensation through my body. I blushed and subconsciously lowered my breathing. When I came back to my senses, I saw Coco inching closer to Mike, asking, "Do you think my lipstick smudged?" Mike pulled back a bit, looking down. "Where?" Coco glanced at me with a helpless look on her face. She seemed to have regained her composure and resumed chatting with Mike. Pointing at a passing girl, she said, "Hey Mike, that girl's pretty, really pretty." My brother took a serious look, nodding in agreement. "Yeah, nice body, pretty face." I felt Bill twitch beside me. When I turned to look at him, I saw him unable to hold back a laugh. No wonder Mike couldn't find a wife. At this point, I felt like Mike wasn't good enough for Coco. He hadn't even noticed that Coco was getting upset. She kept staring at the pot, and he was seriously discussing the pot's material with her. Coco had completely shut down. She gave one-word responses to everything he said. After dinner, my brother wanted to send Coco home, but Bill disagreed. He whispered in my ear, "Send Bill a message. I can't take you home today, be good." I nodded, watching Bill take Coco away, while my brother stood there, looking miserable. Deserved it. Back home, I clipped a video of a typical nerdy guy's behavior from a website and sent it to him. It took him a while, but finally he rubbed his face and asked, "Wait, did I mess up? Did I make a fool of myself?" I laughed and nodded. He slapped his face with both hands, 2 loud slaps. "No, I've never been in a relationship. I'm just being honest. Sometimes I really don't know what girls want to hear. You have to teach me how to improve my image." I cracked open some seeds, silently mocking him in my head. How does Bill know exactly what I need? Well, you need to seriously reflect on yourself and understand Coco's heart. My brother anxiously analyzed his feelings for Coco. "I really like Coco. I've never met such a gentle girl. So soft, so delicate. I adore her. I'm constantly thinking about where I'm going wrong." I sent this voice message to Coco, and within a minute she replied, "Your brother's just a little slow, straightforward. Leave it to me. I'll handle it. Let him throw out the straight ball, and he'll have nowhere to hide." I was stunned, looking up at Mike. "You haven't confessed to Coco?" His face turned red. I'm just not confident she'd say yes, so I wanted to maintain a good image with her first. I sighed. "If you're any slower, Coco will be running off with someone else." He seemed anxious, pacing around in a hurry. What should I do? His phone beeped, and Mike picked it up. His face immediately turned bright red, trembling as he handed the phone to me. "Kid, what does Coco mean by this?" Coco's WeChat message read, "Mike, do you like me?" I face-palmed. "Do you want me to confess for you?" Mike's hands were shaking. He quickly typed, "Coco, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" Just as he sent it, he received another message. "I agree." Mike froze for a long time, his neck and ears turning bright red. He hopped up in excitement and ran off. "Kid, I can't wait. I have to go see my wife now. ... What? Wife? What about me? Who am I, the wife?" Not thinking too much about it, I hurriedly sent Bill a message, calling him in a strained voice. "Bill, my brother's off to find true love. There's no one at home." I intentionally didn't turn on the lights, and when I opened the door, a sliver of light from the hallway illuminated the room. Bill's eyes were dark, his messy hair falling across his forehead. He bent down to kiss me. Just then, the door suddenly made a sound. Both of us froze. Bill quickly fixed my clothes and softly reassured me. "It's fine. Your brother will find out sooner or later." The lights suddenly flickered on. We looked at each other, and I was in a daze, calling out, "Mom, Dad, why are you back?" My mom's mouth was wide open, and my dad looked around, furrowing his brows. "Where's Mike?" Before I could answer, he turned and walked out. My mom followed behind. "Huh? Where did Mike go? That rascal, always running around, never comes home." The door slammed shut. Bill sighed, then wrapped his arm around my waist and kissed my forehead. "Baby, let's get engaged." "What? How did we go from here to engagement?" He grabbed his jacket from the side and, with a lowered head, kissed the corner of my mouth. "You go back to the bedroom, take a shower, and sleep. Leave everything to me." I lay in bed, tossing and turning, my head spinning. My parents caught me being affectionate with my boyfriend. Will they kill me? Luckily, my parents at least gave me some face. I just didn't know what Bill would say to them. Then I heard the sound of the door. I rushed out to see Mike had returned. He looked at the box by the door, confused. "Mom and Dad are back? Didn't you see them at the door?" He shook his head. No. No. As he reached for something, I noticed the red string tied around his wrist. My brother immediately noticed the red string on my wrist. He pointed to my hand asking, "Did Coco give this to you?" I scratched my head, not knowing how to respond. Just then, my parents came in. They scanned the room and then asked Mike, "Where did you go so late?" "Leaving your sister home alone." Mike blushed for a moment, stammering, "Had some business, went out for a bit." My dad patted Mike's shoulder, slightly disapproving. "You're not as good as your sister." The atmosphere was tense and Mike, not understanding what was going on, suddenly asked, "Not as good as my sister? I'm a grown man. What am I lacking compared to her?" My mom immediately scolded him. "Your sister already has a boyfriend. Look at you, you're a grown man and still can't find a girl. How are you better than your sister?" I froze, speechless. "It's over." The atmosphere was awkward and silent. Mike seemed to not understand what my mom said, and after a long time he finally asked, "She has a boyfriend? Who? Who's been chasing my sister behind my back?" My dad, taking off his clothes and walking to the couch, glanced at me. "It's Bill, he's running a business, and his family background is pretty simple. He's a good guy." Mike reacted like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, exclaiming, Who? Bill?" My mom shook her hand, kicking Mike lightly. "Stop shouting. Can't you hear? Yes, it's Bill. He has a sister. What's her name again?" "Coco." The air seemed to thin out. I froze, and slowly turned to look at my brother. "Luna, you better give me an explanation." He wasn't even dressed yet, and slammed the door behind him, making a deafening sound. My parents, confused, turned to me. "What's wrong with Mike?" "He's obsessed with you." I had to sit down and explain everything to my parents, clarifying the whole situation. Both of them seemed shocked by the sudden news, their faces flushed. My mom comforted me. "Think about it. One is your beloved little sister and the other is your best friend. He feels like you're hiding something from him, that you don't take him seriously." I made a bitter face. I wanted to tell him, but from the start, he was so against me asking Bill. My phone beeped, and Bill sent a message. "Mike came to find me. Don't worry, go to sleep. Tell Uncle and Aunt, we're tired from flying. Get some rest. Good night, baby." Mike didn't come back until late, and I couldn't sleep well, tossing and turning. His door creaked open. I rushed out to see him stumbling in, eyes bleary and red. He looked at me, scoffing, and didn't speak to me. I hurried to pour him a glass of water and softly called, "Bro." Mike remained silent for a while before finally sniffing and saying, "Little brat's all grown up. I should be sending you off to marry now." I suddenly felt a lump in my chest and walked over to rest my head on his shoulder. "Bro, I'll always be your little sister. Even if I get married, you'll still have to spoil and pamper me." He patted my head and scoffed. "Yeah, how could I not spoil you? I'll always spoil you." I smiled. "Bro, don't forget, we're family." When I mentioned that, my brother's face turned red with anger. I treated him like a brother, but he's trying to get with my sister. "Mike, same goes for you. You're trying to get with his sister too. The difference is, he knows I like his sister, but he's sneaking around my house." The room was quiet. Outside, the small tables were filled with red gifts and candies. A round table piled high with food. At the head of the table were both fathers, with the mothers sitting beside them. Bill leaned in, whispering in my ear, "How does it feel to be a sister-in-law?" I was playing with his phone, glancing at him. "Coco and I both call each other sister-in-law, but that's confusing. Let's just call each other by name." He rested his head on my shoulder. "Then you're losing out." I didn't respond, instead pointing to his phone's contact name. "Bill, what does Gigi mean?" He quickly took a bite out of my ear, grinning. "Call me Bill. You have no idea how soft you sound when you say those 4 words. I love it." I blushed, whispering Bill. "Then what does Gigi mean?" He smiled, his fingers brushing against mine. "Good girl." "Good girl?" "Yeah, it means good girl." But I was still puzzled. "Why did you name me that when you added me on WeChat?" He squeezed my fingers and smiled wickedly. "Because I knew you'd be my wife. I know exactly what's on your mind." My mom and Mrs. Chun were chatting and laughing. "They just call each other by name. No need for all the rules. We're family, that's enough." It was probably another comment about titles. But Mike didn't agree, shouting at me. "You can't. Your sister-in-law hasn't even heard anyone call her that. You should call her that for a few days. Coco, speechless, twisted my brother's ear. He collapsed into her arms, looking like a child. My mom laughed and scolded Mike. You young people do whatever you want. We have no say. In the peaceful atmosphere, everyone subconsciously found the one they loved, their gazes meeting in silent understanding. As the parents stood and raised their glasses. Cheers to your engagement.